Before we get into November 2022's election contenders, let's jump into one of Arizona's hot political topics, and that's our water shortage. Daniel has the report on that.
Thank you, Caitlin. Since the beginning of 2022, Arizona has been in a Tier 1 water shortage condition, which has required Arizona to leave 512,000 acre-foot of its annual 2.8 million acre-foot allocation in Lake Mead. Should the surface levels at Lake Mead descend to below 1,060 feet by the beginning of 2023, the amount Arizona may have to leave in the reservoir may increase to 592,000 acre-feet. We have now been moved up to a Tier 2 water shortage for Lake Mead, and that will be enacted in January 2023 as one of the river's key reservoirs has had its levels continue to dip dangerously low this year. This is forcing Arizona into conserving water. This really impacts the state's top producers, the farmers. Yes, the agricultural industry is being hit hard as farmers are being forced to fallow their land. Or in other words, for those of us who aren't farmers, not plant some of their fields because of the water shortage. Thus, you guessed it, it leads to a further food shortage. So here's where we currently stand. Arizona already has stored more than 800,000 acre-feet in Lake Mead, which means we have already planned beyond what a Tier 3 will require us to do. So if your event or game or cookout is canceled this year because of some rain, well, we need it, so don't be too upset. This has risen to be one of the top topics right here in Arizona politics. Both sides are viewing this crisis as an opportunity to show their leadership on a big issue. According to the Democrat governor candidate Katie Hobbs' website on the water crisis, she released her newest policy plan this past Tuesday, which she called, and I quote, "a resilient Arizona." Her plan is to provide solutions for the rapidly growing water crisis, to preserve our natural resources, and to address climate change by building a 21st century clean energy economy that puts Arizona on a path to short and long-term prosperity. Her plan outlines the actions she will take as governor and her priorities to tackle the compounding challenges our state faces. According to her campaign website, Hobbs states that as the water crisis continues to worsen with major water cutbacks, the threat of losing reliable hydropower generation looms large, with wildfires, extreme heat, and drought plaguing Arizonans across the state, all of which are exacerbated by the worsening impacts of climate change on our way of life. Hobbs is also quoted stating that Arizona's next governor must address a generational challenge, ever-disruptive water shortages that threaten access to water and the viability of our state's water supply. She states, "These problems are not new, but what's been missing is leadership. As governor, I will deliver results that expand economic opportunities and improve the well-being of Arizonans through innovative thinking, common sense leadership, and cooperation among tribes, farms, cities, and industries." Now here are the bullet points to her Resilient Arizona plan that we pulled off her campaign website. Number 1, establish the Water and Energy Innovation Initiative, tasked with securing our water supply and advancing a clean energy economy in partnership with state agencies, businesses, underserved communities, and tribal communities. Number 2, secure Arizona's water supply by better conserving and managing our water, investing in and upgrading our infrastructure, and providing the leadership needed to bring Arizonans together so that every stakeholder has a seat at the table. Number 3, protect Arizona's precious natural resources like our forests, parks, and bodies of water from the devastating effects of climate change and wildfires. And last but not least, invest in a 21st century clean energy economy that lowers costs for Arizonans, diversifies our energy infrastructure, and addresses the
states that, quote, "Water is perhaps the single most critical issue facing Arizona today, as too many people now rely on a single watershed that is unable to support them, and our population is continuing to grow." She also stated that ranchers and farmers are already suffering from this, seeing significant cuts in their water allocations from the Colorado River and watching their groundwater dry up. Blake posted on her website that the next governor of Arizona must be a leader on this issue, not only for Arizona, but for the future of the entire Southwest and northern Mexico. Blake states that Arizona must seek and immediately implement both long and short-term solutions to address the rapidly growing crisis that threatens the future viability of our agriculture heritage, our manufacturing growth, and our population. Blake's website further explains that after meeting with experts across Arizona on this issue, as Governor Kari Lake will be committed to the governor who addresses the Arizona future water needs by stepping up the lead on a national regional effort to ensure Arizona and the entire Southwest have the water they need to continue to grow into the future. Kari Lake's plan is stated on her website, and it reads, "Short-term, increasing our storage capacity on the Salt and Verde River system by improving and expanding our dams and reservoirs, capturing storm runoffs, lining and covering our canals, and properly managing the forest and wildlife areas surrounding these critical rivers to prevent forest fires, which cause significant damage to the river ecosystem." She also states that we also have to support our responsible transfer of water rights, especially working with the various tribal nations throughout Arizona. And lastly, she states that we need to expand efficient capture and purification. Lake's website states that we do a lot of this stuff well already, and it's on our way where both Phoenix and Tucson have been real leaders. But long term, we need to see more water. She points out many options, even referring to some of the solutions that Israelis are currently using.
On the way, folks. Stick around. Next, we cover the federal government. On Tuesday, announced new water cuts for Arizona, Nevada, and Mexico in response to what the Biden administration has called a climate change-induced drought that is depleting the Colorado River and its reservoirs. Now here's why it matters, folks. It's the first time in history that the government has triggered a Tier 2 water shortage for Lake Mead. And that's one of the river's key reservoirs, as its levels are dangerously low. The Tier 2 designation will begin in January and means that Arizona, Nevada, and Mexico will have to reduce their use of water from the Colorado River. Arizona will face the largest cut of 582,000 acre-feet of water, which is approximately 21% of its annual apportionment. Nevada will face a reduction of 25,000 acre-feet of water, which is about 8% of its annual apportionment. Mexico will face a cut of 104,000 acre-feet, or around 7% of its annual allotment from the river. The U.S. Bureau of Reclamation said Tuesday it will not act upon its June demand that states who rely on the Colorado River must agree to plan to cut up to 25% of their water usage. Authorities in California, Arizona, and Nevada in the lower basin, and Colorado, New Mexico, Wyoming, and Utah in the upper basin have had ongoing debates on how to make cuts. They had until August 15th to come to an agreement. Chief Camille Touton said in a statement, the Bureau is starting the process to come up with a plan for this, though she did not announce new deadlines for the states. Here's what the federal government is saying. Every sector in every state has a responsibility to ensure that water is used with maximum efficiency. The Department of Interior's Assistant Secretary for Water and Science, Tanya Trujillo, stated. She also added, in order to avoid a catastrophic collapse of the Colorado River system and a future of uncertainty and conflict, water use in the basin must be reduced. Here's the big picture, folks. Much of the American Southwest has been in the grip of a decades-long mega drought, chronic overuse of the Colorado River, and that hasn't helped matters either. And Lake Mead and Lake Powell are now at historic lows. More than 40 million people across 7 states and at least 22 tribal nations rely on the river for drinking water. And it's crucial for Southwest agricultural and outdoor recreation industries. Continued depletion of the river's flow and its reservoirs, the two largest man-made reservoirs in the United States, could further disrupt water delivery and hydropower production for Arizona, Nevada, and parts of California within the lower Colorado River Basin. The Mexican states of Baja California and Sonora also rely on the Colorado River for drinking water and agricultural irrigation. On average, each Arizona resident uses, get this, about 146 gallons of water per day. Wow. About 20% of the state's water supply is for municipal use, and most of this is residential. Up to 70% of that water is used outdoors for watering plants, swimming pools, washing cars, etc. Now, especially during the summer months, with the remainder used indoors for bathing, cooking, cleaning, etc., residents that incorporate water efficiency into everyday life help us to preserve water for future generations. Yeah, you know, it's funny, around our house, something that we do to save water is that while we're brushing our teeth, you know, we've all heard this as little kids, you know, when I brush my teeth, I don't let the water run. Something small, but, you know, it makes a difference. Now, folks, as the elections across the state is heating up, coming up next, we will dive into Arizona's top competitive political races. Don't go away.